In this lesson, we'll cover approvals management in Order Management Cloud. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to explain how approvals are used and how to set up an approval rule. This graphic gives you an overview of the full set of features included in the order-to-cash process. All these capabilities are available when Oracle Fusion Cloud Order Management is integrated with other Oracle Fusion Cloud SCM applications. Remember, things like credit checks, transportation planning, and compliance screening can occur both when you submit an order and again during fulfillment. The pre-built integrations you see here help make the whole order-to-cash process seamless. Throughout this course, we'll focus on a specific group of these applications as they relate to order management and fulfillment, and we'll talk about how they connect to both upstream and downstream systems. For this lesson, our main focus is on how approvals work. This graphic outlines the flow from capturing an order all the way to fulfillment. Here's how it works. First, orders are captured in the system. Then, when the order is submitted, several behind-the-scenes actions can take place, such as running validation and defaulting extensions, performing built-in validations for order management, pricing, and configurator, applying any constraints, calculating the price, including tax and any pricing guidelines, running a credit check, completing global trade compliance checks, and triggering approvals if needed. After the order is captured and these steps are completed, each fulfillment line gets its own orchestration process, and the order moves forward to fulfillment. Our first topic provides an overview of order approvals. You can set up your order process so that orders require approval before they move forward. Approval rules can be customized to match your company's policies. For example, you could require a supervisor to review and approve any orders over $50,000 before it's booked, or orders where the price has been manually adjusted, or orders with certain order type on the header. You could also combine different criteria, like requiring approval for orders that are both of a specific type, for example XYZ, and have a value over $50,000. In the screenshot, you can see a confirmation message on the Create Order page, letting the user know that the order may need approval and that fulfillment will only start after it's been approved. Serial or sequential approval means the approval request goes to one approver at a time, following the approval chain. For approval, the request is approved only after everyone in the chain has given their approval. For rejection, if any approver rejects the request, it won't move on to the next person. The order just goes back to draft status. You could also set up approvals where the flow includes sending the request for approval to several approvers at the same time. For approval, the request is approved as soon as the required voting percentage is met. The remaining approvers don't need to take any action. For rejection, if just one person rejects the request, it's considered rejected right away, even if the other approvers haven't responded. Here's an example of a parallel approval. If you want at least 3 out of 5 approvers to approve a request, you would set the required voting percentage to 60%. This sample request would be rejected if any approver had rejected it before the required 3 approvers did. The second topic addresses the setup of order approvals. Order administrators can create approval rules using various order attributes, including extensible flex fields. If you set the system parameter, Start Approval Process for Sales Orders, to Yes, the approval workflow will kick in automatically. Order approvals use the Approvals Management Service, Business Process Modeling Worklist, and notifications to manage the whole process. You can set the Start Approval Process for Sales Orders parameter at the source system level. Is where the order is created, such as Oracle Order Management, if your team uses the Create Order page directly, and Oracle Fusion Cloud Configuration, Price, and Quote, if you import orders from Oracle CPQ into Oracle Order Management. If you only want approvals for orders made in Oracle Order Management, but not for imports from CPQ, set the parameter to Yes for Order Management and No for CPQ. The order entry specialist doesn't need to do anything. Approval starts automatically when an order meets the rules. The Approvals Management Service checks each order against your approval rules. If an order's attributes meet the rule conditions, the service generates a list of approvers based on what you've defined in the rule. When an order meets the conditions for approval, it's automatically sent to the designated approvers. The order entry specialist gets a confirmation message letting them know the order is being verified. While the order is awaiting approval, it's locked and can't be modified. Order entry specialists can check the approval history, view any approval notes in Oracle Order Management, or even revert the order back to draft if necessary. The diagram shows the approval flow in action. Here's how it works step by step. 1. Create the order. 2. Start submission. 3. Validate the order. 4. If approvals are set up for the source system, initiate the approvals process. And 5. Once approved, the order is submitted and moves on to fulfillment. This process helps ensure that only approved orders move forward in the system. This slide lists the high-level steps for setting up and enabling approval. The approval task comes preceded, but you can change it to suit your organization's requirements. A couple of things to keep in mind. In order management, approvals can only be set up for the entire sales order, not for individual order lines. Approval rules can only be applied before the order is submitted, not during the fulfillment process. You can customize the approval task to fit your organization's needs. If you want to use extensible FlexField attributes in your order approval rules, be sure to click Start Synchronization after Step 4, as shown in the slides note. If you've changed extended flex fields and don't see the warning message, click the Edit icon. The warning will pop up, and then you can start the synchronization process. Here's how to navigate to the setup. From the navigator, go to Setup and Maintenance. In the Task panel on the right, click Search and enter Manage Task Configurations for Supply Chain Management. On the BPM Worklist page, search for Sales Orders. Then, click on Approval Human Task. This configuration will help you update and sync your approval task as needed. You can modify the approval task to suit your organization's requirements. When you're modifying the approval task, here are a few things you can customize. Notifications. This decides how and when the approvers will be notified. Access. This sets who can see the data and what actions each person is allowed to take. For example, the initiator is the person who submits the order for approval. The assignee is the person who reviews and approves or rejects the request. Some configuration options. Set up assignment and routing policies to control how approval requests get assigned and routed. Adjust early completion settings, for example, making a task complete as soon as enough approvals are received. Choose whether to prohibit users from approving their own request or to avoid self-approval. Add approval preconditions to meet any specific business requirements before the approval task is triggered. To make sure approval requests get routed to the right people, you'll need to create a rule that sends sales orders approvals to one or more approvers. For example, you might create a rule like, if the order total is over $10,000, assign approval to supervisors. Here's how to set it up. In the navigator, go to My Enterprise, then select Setup and Maintenance. On the Setup page, pick the Order Management offering. Then, search for and select the Manage Orders Approval Rules task in the Orders functional area. On the Manage Orders Approval Rules page, click Create New Rule. When creating the then condition of your rule, open the Assign to Supervisors window by selecting Perform an Action. Then, choose Assign to Supervisors in the Create Action window. This process ensures that orders meeting your criteria are routed to the right approvers automatically. Keep in mind, there are 3 key steps you need to follow to set up approvals for new customers. If you miss any of them, the approval process doesn't work. If you leave the approval manager set to No, order management won't send sales orders for approval, even if you've defined and activated approval rules. If you set the parameters to Yes, but don't define or activate any approval rules, orders won't be routed for approval. They'll just move straight to fulfillment. To check or update this parameter, go to the navigator, then to My Enterprise and select Setup and Maintenance. On the Setup page, choose the Order Management offering. Search for and select the Manage Order Management's Parameter task in the Orders functional area. This will